Welcome to the Meeple Syrup Aftershow, Designers Discussing Design. We're on episode 102, Hear Us Roar. And at this moment, Rising Sun is at 1,737,444 or $447. So I think they've reached their 300,000 pledge.
What does that get me? Does it get me
What?
something?
Are you
The
sure? Did
stretch
you
goals.
refresh?
I no, I'm not hitting refresh. It makes me cry. Right, our next stretch goal will be the Fox Clan Daimo, and then you'll get some special Fox Daimo clan material if it can reach 1.8 million.
I've always wanted some extra Fox material.
Right?
Yeah.
It seems so obvious.
I always wonder what they say. It's just me.
Oh, sorry, I didn't even I seriously did not catch that for like a whole half a
Wow.
second.
You're just getting old, Sen. That's what it is. It's age.
Yeah.
But you will notice then that they did just recently get a Dai Kaiju, so you could use
I
that.
know they've
That's a
got
nice kaiju.
they've got the Daikaiju and they've got the pagoda on top of a turtle.
A turtle. Oh man, I lost it. When I saw that, I thought, well, now you got my $100. All right, so we had a wonderful episode. I have regressed back to where I've been spending all my depressed hours.
Watching the Kickstarter.
Watching the rising sun just continue. It's like a very humbling experience. I feel like I'm happy for Eric and I'm sad for humanity, but
it's an interesting phenomenon, right? And I mean, like watching Chernang defend Simon on being on Kickstarter and stuff is pretty fun. So
yeah, absolutely, it is fun to watch. So, but we have better things to discuss because we had a wonderful episode graced by two very experienced. It was actually quite fascinating, all the different experiences our guests have had. And we chatted mostly, the conversation kind of circled around advertising, marketing, the different hats that need to be worn in the industry to get things done. And so I'm curious, what things jumped out to each of you, and also what conversations has this sparked that you would like to pursue?
God, I think we really need to actually kind of take a step back and realize how many moving parts there are in making a game. And I remember kind of early on when we were having discussions in the artisans and kind of wondering, okay, well, what does the publisher actually do for us? What are the things that they're accomplishing that they take such a huge cut and all that kind of wonderful stuff? We're creators, creators are part of a very, very large machine, and like the more we've been exposed to the industry, the more we realize, just like you said, Daryl, there's stuff that's got to be done. And holy poop, the amount of, like, the best word in French is polyvalence, like the fact that the girls were so multifaceted and multi-talented, and were able to shift hats and talk about all the various skills they developed on the job. If you're going to be working in a company with 5 people, or if you're going to be in a spin-off company that's doing digital work and you're just getting started, there is a lot of different things to do. So, I mean, just to get into the gaming industry, very, very difficult. I wanted to point out, though, Amber said she was both in the gaming industry and the publishing industry. I've been in the publishing industry. People in that industry are there because they really, really, really want to be there. So only kind of the most capable people rise to the top. So I really have to give kudos there that she's kind of in a couple of creative industries where people are so passionate just to be there. And she's shown her worth and like being able to rise to the top clearly. So that's tough. This is kind of a cut above to be able to do those two things.
Something that I think both Sarah and Amber talked to that was really kind of tickling some neurons for me was just kind of what Dylan's saying, the importance of the chain, all the little niche things that have to happen in order to get a game from here to out there in the world. It's not as easy as just pressing print on, sorry. on your printer and going, okay, there it is, done. And I think we, in our little artistic fishbowls, kind of have a myopic view of things when we talk about, oh, I'm only getting, why would you only take, I know, a 7% royalty or 6% royalty or 5 or 4 or 3 or 2 or whatever, right? And there's a reason why. Once you understand the business and understand where people are coming from and how much work goes into stuff behind the scenes, the design part of it is the kernel, but there's more to it than that, right? There's a whole bunch of other stuff that goes on that's equally, if not more important for the game to get out there. Because I could certainly make 100 games, but they'd probably never hit a store shelf because I couldn't get them to every store that needs to have them. So I think what they said was a lot of really important stuff for us as designers, just to recognize, when we're being kind of in our artistic moments of, why am I only getting this when I'm doing all this work, recognizing that there's a lot of work on the tail end that goes to getting the game actually made, and then even more work to get it to the stores and into the hands of the people, right?
I kind of want to just do hot pursuit on that comment on the store. Sorry, Daryl, but the last comment that Sarah made about building store relationships, so going between publisher and the actual bricks and mortar, what I had to kind of sit back and think to myself, that's kind of funny, because 10 years ago, that's the only relationship there was. When we weren't selling everything online, when we weren't able to target ads to people through Facebook accounts and through Amazon accounts and stuff like that, that was the core of where games were being sold, was building those relationships with brick and mortar stores. And now it's kind of come back full circle, and she's saying, I just don't have a person to build these relationships with bricks and mortar stores, because, well, I mean, the kind of implication is we kind of spent a decade looking at other markets, and now we're kind of wrapping back.
I think the companies that wrap back will be the ones that survive, to be completely honest.
Yeah.
You can't lose touch with the community. You can't go fully digital and expect to be successful anyways. I mean, it depends on what your level of success is, or your goal is, but yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I noticed also there's been a nice variety of blog posts going up on, if anyone's seen TravisSeverance.com.
Yeah.
Travis Chance did an article, and I forget
Tidwell.
And then just recently, Mike Paschal, who was on one of our episodes, who's with Peach State Hobby Distribution, just did a nice article about, the good problems of the industry right now, and what it means, all the work when it comes to the triage of marketing from the distributor. So being that middle person, trying to translate the information from a publisher and trying to communicate to a store why they should order X game and how many quantities, and trying to make this whole guessing game of how many copies of games they should juggle, and just that whole industry. That alone is a whole step that really game designers, or at least I should speak for myself, never considered until we started having conversations with these people. So some really fascinating other sides to the industry, that the more we talk to each other, the more we understand each other, and hopefully can even be considerate of one another and do things even better.
I think to some degrees, I mean, I think that this is a question that I really should have asked Sarah, was how can a designer become more valuable to there's obviously hats that need to be worn by all sorts of people, and clearly within the companies, individual
and send
workers
those hats to me.
Exactly.
Daryl will wear all the hats.
Daryl will wear all the hats. Everyone, yeah. Anyway, but the basic idea is, what are the kind of value added that a designer can bring to the table? The obvious is, if a designer can come with graphic designer chops, then clearly there's a load of money to be saved.
Yeah,
but there's got to be other
the
combos.
triple threat at that point, right?
Yeah, but there's got to be other combos, right? There's just got to be.
Not everybody can be Josh Capel or
That's true.
Or
Gavin Brown.
Gavin Brown or Ryan Lacat, or who's like the quadruple billion threat. And who else does that? There's lots of artists.
Now that Yves Tourigny is getting into illustration more and more, he's becoming a designer.
He's already got it. He's already kind of got it.
Exactly. Down. Just not in board games as much. He's doing illustration freelance on the side. But yeah, you can see that's a killer combination. Wow.
Yeah. So I mean, how we do it usually is Jay and I parlay our other skills into the realm of, oh, we'll make the video, or we'll script, or I'll write the music. So yeah, if you have any other skill set in your designer, use it. And it makes you more valuable or more likable, I guess. I don't know what the real word is.
Hey, as the sell sheet master, I gotta say, would you throw your additional skills on a sell sheet? Would you have fine print saying, and by the way?
No, I don't do that on the sell sheet, because the sell sheet's specifically for the game. I will talk to prospective publishers about that and say, hey, by the way, this is also what we've done. We actually have a little list of all the YouTube videos we've done in terms of videos that we've done for Train of Thought, or this town for the Dude of Four of Us, or whatever. And I always list Meeple Syrup. You guys should list Meeple Syrup as things that you do and places you're always at, and that you're a convention junkie or whatever. There's a lot of ways to add.
I think a lot of the time too, having someone else almost bring that up or vouch for you becomes a really great calling card as well. And I'm going to do that right now as an example. But for instance, I have a new app for a game that's created by another game artisan.
Yeah.
And so this is Shopping Time, but Eric, I'll butcher. How do you say his last name?
Rao.
Just Rao?
Oh. I think so. Rao. I don't know. I'm talking to him right now. I can ask him. One sec. Go.
Well,
you just talk about the app. And I'll talk to Eric.
Here's an example. Eric is a wonderful designer, but he also has a skill set of making apps. And so he just finished making this one, and he's working on the next Mercury game app that involves Sen and Jay, a future Bamboozle Brothers game. I don't know if it's public information yet, so I won't out it. But that's an example of Eric already had a relationship as a designer, but also had this other skill set. And then Jay spoke up and said, hey, well, if you need an app designer, here's someone that's in our regular playtest group anyway. So I think that's also one of the most wonderful things about our hobby, is that we most of the time are a pretty friendly group that love to help one another and try to encourage and support. There's constantly times that I know Sen is chatting with people and giving advice out there, and most people are shocked, but that's just the way he's wired. And I think it's also just a way that the game artisans are wired, is that we love helping one another and trying, the rising tide helps all boats. That's really, a bit of our motto, is that we love coming alongside and helping this hobby get even better.
Absolutely.
I think it's like Beetlejuice. Hold on. We said his name and he called me. Jay, what's
called
up?
You? Wow.
Hey, dudes.
I gotta say,
you can tell them that the app works on my phone. I just was downloading it.
Hi, Jay. I'm on air right now. So are you. Hold on.
Oh, it's Jay.
Yeah, it's Jay.
Even better.
Actually, no.
I was bragging about him.
It's Meeple Syrup time. Hi, Meeple Syrup, says Jay. No, it's Eric Roe. How do you pronounce Eric's last name?
We get answers for you right away.
We get you.
Roe.
I knew it was a little more complicated than Roe.
There we go.
I didn't say Roe. I said Rao. But yeah, you're
Rao. Okay.
Oh, hey, we got a question online. One sec.
I actually kind of wanted to just say one thing.
Yep.
Yeah, go for it, Dylan.
Just one thing. Just to follow on, and I kind of want to do a kind of a resume from what Amber was saying. She was talking about doing a skills inventory, more or less, and kind of setting goals for herself. Extremely, extremely useful. But from what we've heard, and from the various kind of additional skills that a designer can offer a company, it's probably useful for a designer to sit down and do a skills inventory. Talk about, think about the stuff that they can offer and be able to pitch that. It makes sense. We're now just, designers discussing designs. There's a great tip that we can take from this interview for budding designers.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
on my desktop, I have a press kit, and on my press kit, I have all that stuff. So it's pictures of me, pictures of the games, picture of Jay, picture of Jesse, whoever I've designed with, all the sell sheets, but also kind of like my game CV and all that kind of stuff, like the little blurb, like Sen is a blah 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 from blah blah blah. That's all in there. So I just send that all to not only to publishers but to websites and things like that when they want to interview or whatever. Michael Murray asks a question. He says, do those designers with additional skill sets negotiate higher percentage of sales when selling to a publisher? Or would publishers pay for the art or graphic design separately, for example? Those are good questions.
These are really good questions. I can help at least contribute a little feedback on that one.
Yeah, go right ahead.
So one example that I can point to from my personal experience actually was I represented a game for a friend, and it is right here, Rival Kings, from Adrian Adamscu. And one of the cool things about this was that when negotiating, pitching his game and negotiating it, one of the things was that they wanted some help with the project when it came to development. I love development, so we were able to negotiate a little bit of that to include me getting compensated for ongoing development work as the game got ready. So that's an example. I know, for example, some artists that or graphic designers that will pitch a game. I know it's happened at IDW where they've pitched a game, they've been signed for the game, and then it's a separate contract for their work if it's graphic design or art. And I can, for example, Steven Sauer with his upcoming game Perlock Holmes, he got some extra work with some graphic design work, but that was a separate compensation for that work. So there's a couple examples from me. I don't know about you guys.
I think you got to realize that every negotiation has two winners. And the fact, like when you make a good negotiation, both parties win. And in the end, if you pitch a value added to a publisher and it costs less than doing it another way, they're losing money by not taking it, as long as you make a good offer.
Yeah, I think that's really important. Is you want everyone leaving the table feeling like a winner.
Yeah,
and that really means not thinking in terms like that you need to win.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, think, how is this going to be great for everyone? And if you
how
go
will we
through
make
that,
work?
then you want, for instance, the company to do very well, because that means that they're going to be still around for the next game that you want to pitch them. So,
right, yeah. Your goal is not to milk a company for everything it's worth when you're selling a game to them. But yeah, so you know what? I don't think we've ever been paid more per se, but I'm pretty sure our games do better because of what we do. Therefore, we get paid more.
Yep.
There's nothing like they will make the video and get paid $50 or $100 or whatever. I don't think that's ever been a thing. We enjoy doing it anyway, so part of that is because we're picky. Part of that is just because it's fun. And so, we do a lot of the like back of box texts and stuff like that. So I do a lot of copy editing for the companies, and it's definitely helpful to have that.
Well, why don't you also give a plug for Sen? You and Jesse and a few people have been doing some other services, and I know you're going to be doing even more of that and kind of offer that more in the future.
Yeah, so there's a bunch of us now, and in London it's me, Scott Veenvliet, and Jesse Wright, who do game development for companies. So if there's anybody out there watching and you want your game further developed, even if you're a small publisher or whatever, we'll work out some type of sliding scale. If you want 3 really good game designers to actually sit down with your game, rip it to shreds, and put it back together for the better, then get in touch with us. I think that's something that one of the things that from Travis's rant over the last week, which raised a lot of eyebrows, I think, in a good way, it just brought to light some issues that he thought were true that maybe other people didn't. But
it was a little shocking. Eric Martin. I don't know if you saw that.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Whew, yeah. That was he got riled up.
Yeah, and I think Jeff's response was probably more the way I see the industry than Travis's initial volley. But my point was this, that I think part of the ennui that we feel with a lot of games right now is that there are a lot, and a lot of them aren't so great because a lot of a lot of them get pushed out too soon of the nest, and they could use a little more loving. They could use a little more development.
Oh yeah.
And I think in the long run, some short-term payment to a good development team.
Oh yeah.
Maybe mine. That's one thing. And some extra time just to incubate that design a little bit longer. It's funny. So we're part of a lot of online forums, right? And there's people who join on day one, and the first thing they say is, "Hi, my name is X, and I have a game, and I'm thinking about kickstarting it right now, like now." And then you have to get down and dig down a little bit and say, "Hey, how long have you been playtesting this?" "Oh, once or twice," or whatever. It's like, okay, so the Kickstarter thing is a dream, and you have to prepare for that in order for it to become a reality. I think there's a little bit of problem in the industry when we can do that, put out a product that might look good but doesn't play well, and I think that is something that I am concerned with. But I don't think there are too many games. But anyway.
Well, we had this discussion last week, Sam. I thought we had all agreed.
Yeah, I'm getting a little recursive because I have a time travel game in my head. So.
I see.
Very nice.
That's one of my holy grails.
Yep. Time travel would be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. Well, what I know Sen and I will be out at Breakout Con. If anyone's there, please join us. I know at least Sen's got a upcoming IDW game that we're going to be playtesting. So if you want to join us for that, Sen and Jesse together have a really great game that we're going to be testing. And I know each of us will have some other games there, and there's a lot of wonderful designers. So please don't be shy. If you're at Breakout Con, we love playtesters.
Yeah, so in Toronto, Breakout Con, I think it's pretty much sold out, but you might be able to get some tickets.
I think you can get them at the door. You just can't now order them in advance.
Oh, on the advance. And you probably can't, you might not be able to get the whole weekend at the reduced price, but I don't know. Go check breakoutcon.com.
Reach out to them. It's a con.
Yeah, and find out what it is. And so I'll be there. Josh Capella and I are playtesting the expansion for Rock Paper Wizards, Dungeons and Dragons Rock Paper Wizards.
Cool.
We've got a bunch of other games that we're testing out there, Jesse and myself, and a game from Jay and myself, some IDW stuff, and some other stuff from other publishers, WizKids, whatnot. So yeah, come on, it's gonna be a good time.
Also, anyone that's going to be at Gamma or Unpub next week, I'll be there. So please don't be shy. Love to chat about games.
Mm-hmm. And Dylan, what are you going to be doing?
I'm traveling.
Oh, secret travel.
It's not secret. It's just travel. It's travel for work.
We're hoping the travel will not interfere with Dylan being able to be on the show next week.
I'm hoping. We'll just see how fast the internet is where I am, and if it's good, we're good to go.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I will likely not be with us.
Okay. So. Okay, cool. So, Dylan, we get to pick the topic.
It's so fun.
All right, so just email me some ideas for topics. We'll find some guests. And
beautiful.
We'll totally keep Daryl out of the loop. All right. So on that note, we're going to say goodbye. Thanks very much for watching. And thanks to our guests today, Sarah Erickson from Renegade Games and Amber Cook from Asmodee Digital. Wonderful guests. Watch the pre-show to see what they had to say about all sorts of stuff like marketing, customer service reps, how to break into the industry if you're not a designer. It's actually really cool. So yeah, and we'll see you guys back here next week, same time, same place. And on Monday, you can catch the Game Dojo. And Daryl, come on, man. When is that pitch show coming?
Yeah, the pitch show got delayed because Nate
I'm gonna blame Reno. I'm gonna blame Reno.
Yeah, you can definitely blame Reno. The other thing is we're not going to be doing it live. We're just going to be recording it and then posting them. So there won't be a live.
To us.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So. Excellent. All right, guys. We'll see you guys all later. Thanks very much for watching.
Bye.
Adios.
Bye.